As COVID cases ebb and India limps back to normalcy, the debate on online or offline exams persists. The Delhi High Court on Wednesday refused to interfere with the Delhi University's decision to conduct physical examinations. When everything is open, why should students not attend physical classes? This was his comment made by Justice Rekha Palli while hearing the petition moved by 5 DU students challenging the university's decision to resume physical classes and exams for the ongoing semester. My colleague Alok spoke to some of the students of DU to find their take. Here's what they had to say.
It's fair on the part of some students to come to the college and some to not. I think it should be fair. It should be either completely online or completely offline. I don't think hybrid would be a very safe place, because then people who are attending online would have an incentive to just sit at home and attend, while the others are giving their best to come here, travel and then give their best. So I think it should be either online or offline.
It should be in a hybrid mode, because many students who are from outside Delhi, like some of my friends are also from outside Delhi, so they are facing some problems in finding PGs and flats, and they should have provided some more time. Even if
एग्जाम भी होने वाला है.
Exactly, first year का एग्जाम अभी कुछ टाइम से बाद ही है, बट वो OBE है, चलो अच्छा है. बट ऑल्सो जो हमारा एग्जाम ऑफलाइन है एंड वो 1-2 महीने बाद है, एंड हमें ऑफलाइन एग्जाम हमने इतने टाइम से नहीं दिया, तो वी आर नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर इट. तो थोड़ा टाइम देना चाहिए था, एंड आई गेस थोड़ा लेट ओपन करना चाहिए था, बट ठीक है, अब कर दिया तो वी आर आई एम हैप्पी.
क्लास अगर चलती है तो फिजिकल एग्जाम देने के लिए मैं रेडी हूँ, मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. अगर ऑनलाइन चलती है तो ऑनलाइन इज ऑल्सो ओके.
For the starting, it should be, because for the outstation kids, but as far as papers are concerned, it's going to be offline only, so it's okay for the classes too. It's offline.
Really good being physically present in the college. We feel that the interaction, the learning would be much more better, because in online structure there was no teaching learning happening. It was just a blank screen. We had to stare in it for more than 2 hours every day. So yeah, it feels good. We feel that we'll actually learn something.
First of all, the day was really exhausting, and I personally am very concerned about my parents, because they are concerned about my health, that I'm going out, and if I'm going out, obviously there won't be much precautions as expected. So I would prefer that the colleges go in the hybrid mode, so that people and the students can do accordingly as they want. It was quite exhausting, and I feel there should be a hybrid system, because again COVID protocols are not followed. We can't be 60 students in one class. We can't maintain social distancing and stuff. Also, DU opening with 100% capacity was not a right decision according to me.
Okay, so opinion largely divided there among students, but when at least 67% of the 15 to 17 age category have received at least 1 dose, should we still continue with an overly cautious policy? Well, I'm going to put that question to my guests this evening, who are joining us on a special edition to discuss this. We have Dr. Neha Jagtiani, the principal of RD National College, with us. We're going to be joined by a few others in just a bit. But Dr. Jagtiani, when we've seen COVID have such a huge impact on the academic year, when we're seeing slowly people limp back to normalcy, whether it is the end of work from home, whether it is the reopening of restaurants and malls, is it right to say that, well, we'll continue the examination in an offline mode?
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me. I think 2.5 years of COVID, one of the sectors which has been really affected is education. I don't think much learning has happened in this entire time, though teachers have worked very hard. So my take on whether online versus offline examinations, yes, the students have not had exposure to writing skills, etc. But we need to make a beginning somewhere. And the actual learning happens face-to-face in an interactive mode. So very, very gently and very, very slowly, we need to go in for offline examinations with maybe MCQs, couple of subjective questions, but we have to make a beginning somewhere. And the actual learning will happen only when we have offline examinations, because otherwise the students will still be in that complacent mode that they have online examinations, and therefore they will really not gear up to coming back to the campus. And knowledge and your holistic development and personality development happens only on campus.
Yeah, Dr. Jagtiani, I also do want to get into that holistic aspect of education that you're talking about, but Advocate Siddharth Ingle, who's the president of the Maharashtra Students Union, also joins us. Siddharth Ingle, your views on this. Is it time now to tell kids, get back to school, college students get back to colleges, and no hybrid model. Let's start from scratch, or let's start in a pre-COVID era again.
Thanks a lot for inviting me here to put forward my views on the offline-online mode dilemma. Actually, you know what? The state of Maharashtra should have some kind of strategy to implement online and offline mode. Actually, everyone must aware about that. The center government had filed an affidavit in the Supreme Court of India by stating that the vaccination is not compulsory. It's not mandatory. Now, the state of Maharashtra had issued a GR on the 25th of January by stating that whoever want to come for the physical learning, they should go and vaccinate themselves and then join the physical learning. But those who don't want to get the vaccination, for them, what the strategy is having the state of Maharashtra. So actually, the principal ma'am stated it's a really fact. Actually, we should start the physical learning slowly, gently, because the students from last 2.5 years, they do not have that kind of exposure to go and sit in the lecture. Actually, there are some SOPs who are developed by the University of Mumbai, and there are various reasons. Actually, there are the protests of ST in various districts of the Maharashtra, Sindhudurga, Ratnagiri, various remote villages are there. Not the state transport isn't working properly. For them, what should we have a strategy? What some kind of planning do we have? So there are enough questions need to be answered by the state of Maharashtra Higher and Education Department.
But Siddharth, do you support exams, physical examinations, physical classes? Do you support that?
Yes, of course, I'm supporting the physical learning and physical examination, but not now. Actually, you know what? State of being a student union, we had to file a proposal to the state of Maharashtra by stating that you should start a vaccination campaign from the college level, because the college having a data of their students. We should start a campaign for 3 months. Then afterwards, we can start physical learning from the next academic year. But in Hoshport, they issued a GR and they asked to the university to start a hybrid mode. Here, the students are in dilemma. Here students are in confusion. They are in mental distress.
Okay, Dr. Jagtiani, are we rushing into this? As Siddharth seems to suggest that we need more time to plan out the rollout of this, and it's better that we go, step by step in this process, as opposed to saying, let's everybody just come to school tomorrow, let everybody just sit for an examination tomorrow.
We still have time on our hand. We're not rushing into examinations immediately, but you have to understand the mindset of the students. They are really going into anxiety, depression, and mental stress, because for practically 2.5 years, they have not even been to an institution. And what are we looking at the third years and the final years? What kind of future are they looking into? Because there are things said like this is the COVID batch and the batch which passed out during COVID. And, the kind of placement opportunities available to them are not as bright as in the pre-COVID times. So like I said, we have to give them all the leeway. We have to be sympathetic and empathetic towards whatever the situation and circumstances would be. But I would really suggest that it's high time we get back to normal. At least the 6 months that we have before we begin the next academic year, we could take little steps to give them tests, get them back into the mode of reading, writing, reference books, and giving physical examinations.
Well, Dr. Jagtiani, you were mentioning this even in your earlier answer as a holistic approach. I think a lot of students are also forgetting social skills. We forget how important, of course, the academics, the education is one part of it, but also a school and a college is such a building ground for your social skills. And as silly as it may sound, you even actually literally learn to write. For 2 years, I don't think any of the students have actually even picked up a pen to start to write.
Absolutely. So college is an entire development of personality. So it's sports, it's cultural, it's peer-to-peer interaction, it's the festivals, it's your entire social outreach. it's your personality development skills. These are all so necessary. And also the academia industry interaction, when we have placement programs, when we have industry experts come and talk to them, there are workshops. For example, all the practical subjects. You can't expect mathematics, accountancy, all the sciences without computer science, information technology, biotechnology, unless you get them back to the labs, unless you get them back to physical teaching, none of the online teaching has made much of sense. So it's really time that since everything else is open and someday we have to limp back to normalcy, it's high time we also, everywhere in the world, education is a priority. It's high time India also take education as priority number one and get the students back to the campus. And of course, there will be some teething problems, some will have, for which you have to have the empathy. But it's high time, slowly and steadily, that we got back to physical classes and physical examinations.
Okay, Educationist Deepa Kumar also joins us. Do you think we can afford to waste any more time? If not now, then when? We've already also been almost 2 years since the pandemic. At some point, we have to say, especially when everything else is open, why not schools, why not colleges, and why not examinations in those centers?
Well, I think I was hearing my friend earlier who was telling about the impact of this online teaching and online assessments. To quite an extent, I agree to what you were saying, but whatever we have to do, we cannot do immediately because it will take some time for students to get back to normalcy. Yes, social interaction and hands-on experiences for any child, any student, whether it is school or college, is very important part of the learning journey. And we cannot let it happen only online. Somewhere we'll have to follow some blended approaches where there can be some things online and some things in the campus, because children are suffering. They're not learning the social skills at all. Some children are suffering from, as what ma'am said, depression. They have anxiety levels high. And yes, the exams, though online exams has its advantages, but we cannot be just depending on it, because it does save time, energy, setting up of papers, and there are less chances of cheating in terms of no paper can get leaked because there are no physical papers. But at the same time, I think as they come back to the normalcy, which they should come back gradually, schools and colleges should prepare themselves for it, so that what the practices we had earlier, we can all bring it back, but not definitely in any kind of hurry, because this will boomerang on students. They have gone through a lot for last 2 years, and we cannot just overlook their thinking or their wants. We have to take them along as we in future.
Well, Deepa, we were actually hearing some students from Delhi University at the start of the show. A lot of them spoke of fear. We're worried for our parents because we are going to be going to colleges and coming back to them, or we're worried for our own safety. At a time when I think a majority of our population has received at least one dose, and even the 15 to 16 or 15 to 18 category have received, at least 67% have received one dose. Is this fear really warranted anymore? Can we cite that and say, no, we still have to keep schools closed or colleges shut when we have statistical data to say that, okay, we are relatively safe?
No, see, we are, as far as safety is concerned, we are better off. Okay, but as I said, now if they are going to colleges or schools in a manner which I'm sure the parents and the schools and the colleges are taking care, I think somewhere we have to begin, because there are enough students who've got vaccinated, but still we need to follow the protocols. We need to be wary of the fact that the virus has not gone. It is still mutating. That's the hard fact we all must know. But that does not mean that we'll shut the world. We have to gain courage. We have to have the students go and meet and interact, which is very important. Otherwise, there'll be a different kind of problem for our society. And what we are doing right now, there is no harm. But yes, follow the protocols and be very, very careful and not just go overboard and not just turn everything upside down in just a day one. We can gradually build on it and bring things back to normalcy, what it was before COVID.
Yeah.
And come together to make this happen. I mean, there's nothing wrong in students going back right now and gradually building that up.
Yeah. Okay, unfortunately, we're completely out of time. This is a discussion that I'd love to have extended further. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for speaking to Mirror Now this evening. Of course, COVID has had an unquantifiable impact on students, their education and their mental health. But as things start to open, I think we have to go back or start going back at least to the pre-COVID era. We're going to slip into a short break now. Stay tuned for more.